Quantum entanglement in the brain generates human consciousness. This controversial idea from neuroscience at Shanghai University could completely change our understanding of the human mind. For a long time, it has been asserted that the human brain is similar to a computer. However, that is an understatement of the brain's capabilities. While comparing neurons to transistors is a convenient metaphor, and not entirely outlandish, the brain is ultra-efficient, its energy is renewable, and it is capable of computational feats that even the most advanced computer cannot achieve. In many ways, the inner workings of the human brain constitute an unknown computational frontier. Although your brain surpasses your laptop, or even the most advanced supercomputer in the world, these machines operate on classical physics. But there exists another type of computer, the quantum computer. The idea that the human brain has quantum properties is not new. In fact, British physicist Roger Penrose and American anesthetist Stuart Hameroff first suggested this controversial concept in the 1990s with their model of orchestrated objective reduction of consciousness. Since then, many pieces of evidence have hinted that, although the brain may not be a full-fledged quantum computer, some quantum properties could contribute to consciousness generation. Now, a new study from Shanghai University provides further evidence to the neurological court that a specific process in the human brain exhibits behavior akin to quantum entanglement, a phenomenon that occurs when two particles, typically photons, become inextricably linked even over large distances. This phenomenon puzzled even the brightest minds, such as Albert Einstein, who referred to quantum entanglement as spooky action at a distance. The study, published this month in the journal Physics Review E, suggests that a fatty material called myelin that surrounds the axon of nerve cells, the fiber that transmits electrical impulses to other nerves or body tissues, provides an environment in which photon entanglement is possible. This could explain the emergence of cognition and, notably, synchronization, which is essential for information processing and rapid responses. Consciousness in the brain depends on the synchronized activities of millions of neurons, but the mechanism responsible for orchestrating this synchronization remains difficult to find, the article states. The results indicate that the cylindrical cavity formed by a myelin sheath may facilitate the spontaneous emission of photons from vibrational modes and generate a significant number of entangled photon pairs. The team built mathematical models detailing how infrared photons could strike the myelin sheath and impart energy to chemical bonds, specifically, carbon-hydrogen bonds embedded in this fatty tissue. This, in turn, could stimulate the generation of biphotons with many entangled pairs and serve as a sort of quantum communication resource within the nervous system. When a brain is active, millions of neurons fire simultaneously, explains New Scientist co-author Yang-Kong Chen. If the power of evolution were to seek a manageable action at a distance, quantum entanglement would be an ideal candidate for this role. If you are truly surprised by this research, you are not alone. For starters, this phenomenon would need to be observed in a biological environment, likely in a mouse brain, before scientists get too excited about the brain's new, quantum communication resource. And that is a process the authors readily admit would be challenging. Moreover, the idea that quantum entanglement plays a role in consciousness is not widely accepted. Hameroff, one of the leading advocates of the notion that quantum phenomena could control aspects of cognition, recently told New Scientist.
3 amazing facts about the brain that will leave you speechless. The human brain is an extraordinary machine due to its ability to control various functions throughout the body, from managing the heart rate to regulating emotions. We do not yet know all the complexities of the brain, but the things we do know are astonishing. Ben Rain, a neuroscientist at Stanford University and science communicator on social media, shares 3 fascinating facts about the human brain with Popular Mechanics. When brains divide in epileptic patients, seizures often begin on one side of the brain and spread to the other. To prevent these sudden and uncontrollable electrical disturbances from propagating, doctors perform an intervention called a callosotomy. This procedure involves severing the corpus callosum, a bundle of over 200 million nerve fibers that connect the 2 cerebral hemispheres, to avoid greater damage. When the corpus callosum is severed, communication between the 2 hemispheres is lost, resulting in split brain syndrome. When we process information in our brain, visual input from the right eye goes to the left hemisphere and vice versa. In other words, each side of your brain controls the opposite side of your body. When I have this pen on my right, my right visual field enters and crosses over to my left occipital lobe, Rain explains to Popular Mechanics video producer Ken Kawada. So there is actually an X in the brain, where the optic nerve from each eye crosses and then goes back in an X formation. However, the two hemispheres work together to control certain tasks. For example, the left hemisphere is primarily responsible for speech and language processing. Patients with split brain syndrome, therefore, have difficulty with speech and object recognition. If someone has had a callosotomy and an object is placed in their left visual field, the information goes to the right side, and because it cannot cross the midline to reach the left side of the brain, they know what it is, they can identify it, they understand it, but they cannot verbally say what it is, Rain explains. But once the pen is moved to the right visual field, patients with split brain syndrome can verbally name the object. Unique brain wrinkles. We all know that our fingerprints are unique like snowflakes, but did you know that our brains also have their own signature? Our brain has significant wrinkles that are identical across all people, and they are actually used as reference points, says Rain. There may be differences in size, but they are more dependent on body weight and overall size. While the exterior of the brain may appear similar, the interior tells a different story. If we look at the microstructure of the brain, that is, the different connections between cells and their locations, all of that depends on each person's experiences and genes, explains Rain. TRPV1. Our natural heat sensor, the TRPV1 receptor, also known as the capsaicin receptor, functions as a heat sensor for our body. TRPV1 is responsible for helping us detect the sensations of heat and pain in our brain. It is activated by stimuli that induce pain, such as walking on hot sand at the beach or touching a hot coffee cup. The receptor is found throughout the body, including inside the mouth. Another way to activate the receptor is through the chemical capsaicin found in spicy food. When people say that spicy food is hot, it's because it's the same receptor that detects heat, explains Rain. Although it is not the same experience as touching a hot surface, the receptor tricks our brain into believing that it is indeed hot. This intriguing interaction between the TRPV1 receptor and capsaicin illustrates how our sensory systems are finely tuned to perceive the environment, and it highlights the brain's complex relationship with external stimuli. The brain interprets the activation of the TRPV1 receptor as heat, signaling potential danger to the body and prompting a reflexive response, such as pulling away from a hot surface. This capability signifies the brain's fundamental role in survival, equipping humans to react swiftly to harmful conditions. Furthermore, the experience associated with spicy foods not only provokes a reaction due to the heat but also often brings about a sense of pleasure. This paradox, where pain and pleasure coexist, is a captivating aspect of human sensory perception. Overall, the mysteries of the human brain continue to fascinate researchers and laypeople alike. As we uncover more about its architecture, functionalities, and capabilities, we gain greater insight into how our minds work. The findings shared by Ben Rain underscore the brain's complexity, its intricate connections, and its remarkable ability to adapt and respond to the world around us. Continued research into these areas not only enhances our understanding of cognitive functions but can also inform therapeutic approaches for various neurological disorders. As we expand our knowledge of brain mechanics and its unique traits, we are better positioned to appreciate the profound intricacies of human consciousness and the delicate balance that sustains it.